Welcome everyone, thank you for stopping by. Here in my first DIY, I have this beautiful basket from Michael's. It was 60% off, and the florals along with the greenery also came from Michael's. They were all 60% off, and I really like this basket. I'd been trying to look for a wall hanging basket for some florals, but I couldn't really find any that I liked too much. But I thought this was just really unique and very beautiful, so I decided to go with it. And it's not really huge. I guess I should have measured it for you guys, but I didn't think to do that. But I would say it's no bigger than like 10 inches. So I just had some foam that I put in there from the Dollar Tree, and I cut up this beautiful light pink and cream colored flower bush, and I just start kind of, I wanted to put those in first and then add all the filler greenery around it. And I just, it seemed like a small space, but I wanted to cover it and make it look nice. So here I wanted to take this greenery and kind of bend it over in the front to make it look like it was hanging from it, but I don't know, I didn't like it, and so I try to put it in there and everything, but you'll see that I take it out and I replace it with something else. I don't know. I always have these visions of how I want my floral designs to look, and they don't necessarily always pan out that way. So, but I think one of my problems too is that I'm a go big kind of person, that I want to fill it as much as possible. I don't like to use moss very much, so I like to use florals and greenery in order to fill my designs. And so I'm trying to hide all of that green floral at the bottom, which with it sitting up you can't really tell. But these were such beautiful little pieces that like right there that I'm holding, it's like a boxwood but with with white on the tips. They also had another one that had pink on the tips, but I just got the ones with the white. And so here I'm gonna use this ribbon. I think I just do like 3 to 4 inch loops and an 8-inch tail. I do 3 loops about the same size and then 2 tails, and I just use some of that floral wire that I got from Michael's, and I've had this for a long time and it's actually lasted me, and I've still got a ton left. But yes, so I'm just measuring to make sure, and this is what I replaced the hanging floral pieces that I wanted. Now, since I don't have one of those pick machines, them things are expensive. So I just take a piece of old greenery stem that I had just cut off for some of these picks, and I just attach it to there. I just loop the floral wire around it. If you want for a little more security, you could use some hot glue and attach it to the stem that way. So on to DIY number 2. Again, this is a basket with a bunch of greenery that I got from Michael's. Now the lavender pick I got from Walmart, I think maybe like a year ago, and I got that on sale. So it was less than $3. Sorry guys, that was my dogs barking. I don't know what they were barking at. But anyways, I got the pick for less than $3. And I just really love this lavender. So it's so pretty. I love lavender. And I love succulents. And so that greenery right there on the left that's hanging over, it's like some kind of succulent. I don't know, but I only got that one, but I just love it. I love the way it looks, and it satisfied my need to want to have some form of greenery hanging from one of these basket arrangements. So it really did the trick for me. Now, I didn't really add in any other flowers to this one. You very well could. Here, like I said, I'm loving this boxwood with the white on it, but I just really didn't want to do a bunch of flowers on this one. I wanted most of it to be like greenery, and so that's why I didn't use any other florals in it. But I thought that the lavender would give it just the touch that I needed. So I really enjoy how this one looks. Now, I did not embellish it with like a bow or anything, but you definitely can add something extra to the front of the basket. I think what would be really cute, and I might end up going back and doing this, is like getting one of those wood letters, so like maybe a J for my last name, and attach it to the front of the basket to make it just that much more personalized. I don't know. You let me know. What do you think about this one? My favorite one was the first one, but I still like how this one turned out as well. On to number 3. For this one, I got this little house from the Dollar Tree, and I got some white chalk paint that I'm actually going to paint over it. At first, I was not gonna put a lot of paint on it, but I ended up putting a little bit more than what I had intended to. But I fixed that by using a sander on it later. But I just give it just one coat of paint, and I let it dry. I didn't worry about the little crevices. So here I just take my little sander, and I am sanding off a bunch of that paint just to give it a more natural rustic look, or maybe more of a whitewash look. So I've got this rub-on transfer from the Dollar Tree, and I've been wanting to do something with this little eucalyptus wreath, and I thought this would be the best thing. Now, you see, I have a ton of these letters from the Dollar Tree, and the only reason is because you only get in a certain number of each letter, and and so I tend to use more of some than I do of others. So like the E is one. So I'm looking here, and I've used every single E off of all of those. So what I decided that I have to do, because I didn't want to trim off any letters and try to make an E, I thought I would just take those off and cut out the space where the letters were, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute, and end up using those as stencils. But here I am just actually just using the back of some scissors, and it came off pretty good for the rub-on transfer. And I just went back, and there was a couple of small spots. I just made sure I went back and tried to rub over it again to make it look good. And I really like how this one ended up turning out. So I ended up getting some black chalk paint, and I think this is where I'm like, oh, I'll just cut these out. So now I'm trying to figure out where each of the letters are and how I can get to it, so I don't have to cut the entire thing apart. And I'm sorry, I'm not in frame, but I'm actually cutting out where the M was. And I'll go ahead and lay that down. And I just try to get it as perfect as as close to perfect as I can. And that one really stuck. Some of them come off really easy and some of them don't. I guess I didn't have to show you guys me cutting out all of the letters, especially with my crazy hair. But I do just one more. I really wasn't trying to cut into the middle of that. I was hoping there would be an empty H close to the end, but there wasn't. And you could always use, if you have a Cricut, you can always use some vinyl or whatever to make a stencil if you want as well. But I didn't really feel like getting my Cricut out for that, since I could just cut it. So here I got my black chalk paint. This is just the one from the Dollar Tree. I really, really like it. It's one of my favorite chalk paints ever. And I have just like one of those little square daubers. And I just go ahead and I pounce the paint on top of the makeshift stencil. And it was kind of hard. I had to cut too close to the letter, and so when it came to some parts of the letters, I was trying not to get it on the outside of the cut portion, but I ended up, there was just no way. It was just the inevitable that it was going to happen that way. And so what I did is once I peel it back, I first started to try and use a little white paint to go over it, and then go back and sand it. But I didn't do all of it because I realized that once I started sanding, everything kind of looked like it blended in together pretty well. And it actually came out pretty good. Even the extra paint that went around the perimeter of the letter stencil, as you can see, it wasn't too bad. And this, for whatever reason, the stuff for the letter M did not want to come off. But we finally got it off. And so here I am just trying to take a little bit of the white paint. But then I realized, I don't need to do this. It was kind of just a waste of time, but hey, you live and you learn. So I really like how it turned out. And then here I'm just making a small little bow, making 2 loops, 2 circles. And I mess up here. I'm too focused on something else that I didn't actually bend the top circle over. This is where I cut the tails. And then here I am like, okay, I didn't make my loops. So I had to go back and make my loops. And I just cut the excess off. And I just used a little bit of hot glue and attached that little bow right onto the chimney. And I really like how this one turned out. So for my last DIY of the day, I got these little wood pieces. They came this size from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just kind of sanding off a little of the rough edges. And I'm trying to find the piece that I want to be in the middle and what I want to be on the top, because they're all a little bit different. So I go ahead and just use some not wood glue. I just go ahead and use some of the Gorilla Glue, the hot glue. And I'm just trying to make sure here that it's, the gaps aren't too big. Because sometimes if you use too much of hot glue and you don't smush it enough, then it'll leave too many gaps, in my opinion. Now here on the sides, they were a little bit more rough than the others, so it was taking the paint a little bit different. Now, I probably could have sanded that down a little bit more, but I didn't. I probably will for future reference. And if you can't tell, I'm making little stack books. Now, I thought these pieces were actually a really great size for this. And I chose to go with white because I really like the white with the dark accent. So I end up going with some black letters. And I think I gave everything one coat except the top. I went ahead and gave it 2 coats. Now I have these little rub-on transfers, and I just cut out some words. I cut out the words happiness, strength, and commitment. You know, to me, all parts of being a family, and you know, so I took the commitment and I put it on the bottom, and I just used the back. I cut that foam off that the foam piece I cut off, and I'm just using the back of that wood piece. So then I put that on there, and then the strength, that one went on pretty well too, but I noticed too late that the right hand side of the H didn't work very well. And so I really had problems when I tried to put the word happiness on there. It was not going on. I even took that off and tried to use another word, and the other word didn't work either. So I didn't understand why it wasn't working. Maybe it was the paint. I thought the paint was dry, but who knows. So here I am kind of struggling a little bit, and it kept moving. So, and then I couldn't get it to come off. What part was on there? I couldn't get it to come off without scraping a lot of the paint away. So here I am. It's my last project. I'm frustrated, kind of ready to go lay down, go to bed, and yeah, it just wasn't working right. So I took some more of that checkered ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and I just go ahead and glue some on there. And then I had these other little puffy stickers from the Dollar Tree. I've had it for a while, and I just never knew what to use it on. And I thought this would be great. So I put this one on there. And I think it says we call this place home or something like that. And I thought it was just really nice. So then I'm just taking I thought I was going to go with the really small loops, but I didn't like how that worked. So I just make one circle. So I only have enough ribbon left for one circle and one tail. So I make that circle and tail, and I add that other piece that I cut off, and I make it as the extra tail. So I put it all together and use some more of that floral wire and just kind of put it all together like I did with the last project. Cut the excess off, and then I just cut the tails at an angle. You can dovetail them if you want. It's all up to you. And then I just put it at the very corner, left-hand corner, because I didn't want it to cover any of that cute little sticker that I put on there. I thought that was really sweet. So this is how this one looked. And I want to say thank you guys for stopping by. And you guys have a blessed day.